Hi everybody, welcome to the signal box today and thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the good old like and subscribe button and I'll crack on with yet another video today. So this one's a little bit more of an update on the update on the update. It's always updates with my stuff because I'm always finding things to do on my little things, and this is no exception. If you remember the other day, Merlin, my Hornby A4, this beastie here, and I've actually finally in the post today I got the last of my weathering powder from Humbrol. This is weathering powder, and this is a smoke effect. It's actually darker than the label on the outside, so I'll just show you what it looks like carefully without spilling it. It's this stuff here, as you can see. It's quite a dark powdery black effect, and what I've done, I've began to layer the top of the boiler from the smoke box from the chimney, basically. If you can see that, hopefully the camera's picking that up. I've just added a little bit of a dark smoky effect. It's started to dry already. It's actually gone dark, because when it was drying it was quite light, but now it's actually starting to go quite dark, as you can see from the chimney running along the top of the boiler, along those rivets, all the way along to the smoke box, the firebox and the cab side, and then over the cab roof and a little bit on the tender. Obviously when this locomotive is running at speed, and the streamlined design of it is designed to, the smoke what goes over the top of the loco and out of the way of the driver and the fireman without obscuring their view too much. But as you can see on my model, I've just blackened this area specifically on top. And what I've done, guys, I've not only used this stuff, I'm going to try and hold the camera with one hand and try and do the lid up with the other. There we go. So make that doesn't go everywhere. I don't want it to fall out all on the floor. But how I got this effect, guys, is again using the Humbrol weathering powder system over there, as mentioned, Humbrol smoke effect, but also to add the ultimate finish. I put some vanilla ice cream on it. No, not really. I used what's inside. It's even more delicious. Coal, the real stuff. So what I've done, basically, I've just got a dry paintbrush, and at the bottom of my container, beneath all this lot, is coal dust. So what I did, I dry brushed some coal dust directly on top there, all the way along. As you can see, it's picked out those rivets really lovely. And then once it was dry, I gave it a lacquer, quick blast of the acrylic varnish spray. Once that was dry, I added another layer of weathering powder and another layer of coal dust, all separately between coats. And it's starting to really build up a nice finish on top there. I can see the difference. I'm not sure if you can see the difference at home, guys, but I can see the difference. For example, on the boiler bands there, these orange boiler bands that go across the boiler there, I can see the difference between shade and contrast. On the top, moving all the way down to the running plate, I can see the difference there. And I wanted to get that smoke effect where it had really picked up a lot of soot from the smoke coming out of the chimney and running all the way along the boiler, as mentioned, over the cab. I'm probably going to give this a little bit more going over. I don't know, I might leave that as it is, but the heaviest area I wanted to really heavily give a smoke and dirty soot effect was basically from chimney to about up to the cab on top there, which I've done, and I think that is great. I love that. I think I'm happy with that, to be honest with you. I'm not going to fiddle with that. It's tempting. Again, it's so blinking tempting with this stuff, because once you get carried away with weathering, it's just like, where do you stop? And you have to physically restrain yourself and say, that's it, don't do no more, leave it. But you can literally go to town on these things, anything. I've said this in previous videos about buildings and wagons and anything you choose to weather. Once you get the weathering bug and you start to look at photographs and books and that sort of thing to get reference, you can really achieve some wonderful results. I'm very happy with my A4. So if we look down also at the cab, today I also did I built some Scratchbuilt side cab doors. These are Scratchbuilt. Did these about 10 minutes ago. There's one on the driver's side, and as you can see, there's one on the fireman's side, on the other side at the model. So what I've done is just again spare bits of plastic offcut from the sprues that you get with model kits, the little offcuts of plastic. Again, don't chuck them in the bin because you can make something out of them. So I've made myself a set of cab doors because, really quickly, the cab doors that I wanted to get, try as I might, Hornby do not do them as a spare part. Peter Spares and I think Hampshire Models are the only two places I go to now for spare bits and pieces for Hornby stuff. Specifically spare detail parts like the cylinder cop pipes that come out of the cylinders this end. There's a set of pipes that go that way on both sides. I've got one, but I need to get a pair. But to be honest with you, because of the sharp curvature of my radius curves of my layout, putting those on and fitting them is going to cause derailments. Every time that front bogey truck swings left or right, it's going to catch those. Even though they're flexible, if you get the picture, it's going to create a derailment situation. So I've left those off. But in the meantime, I have added these side cab doors. I've painted them with Humbrol. What's the colour now? I'll get it out of the box for you to show you. Where is it? So I took it out this morning. Where is it? It's this stuff here, Gloss 3. Believe it or not, which is Brunswick green, which is the BR green colour, as per Merlin. Although my shade of green on here is definitely weathered. So what I'm going to do, I'll let this dry a little bit further. Then most likely I'll add just a very, very smidge of weathering on those side cab doors, just enough, just a smidge, not an over amount. I was going to make a little set of doors for the tender side, so they both match up as a pair, but the thing is with that, on the actual model, if you look at my beautiful artwork from Hornby that came with the box, just for a three-dimensional comparison. I'll put my teeth in a minute. I promise I've put my teeth in this morning. Yeah, if you look at that artwork there, this is what came with the box, obviously, when I bought the thing. And on the Hornby on the Hornby version, as you can see, guys, there was only ever a set of doors, loco side, nothing tender wise. And looking on the actual prototype of the real A4, they didn't have that setup, I don't think. But strangely enough, for example, on my Hornby 8F, Stanier 8F loco, it's got really lovely side cab doors, as is the Black 5 as well. The Stanier engine's got that. But for some reason, these models, they're not very sturdy. They're very flimsy and they do break off. That's why I've had to scratch build these doors here. I know they're not 100% perfect for all you rivet counters out there saying, oh, the doors don't look right, there's bits missing on them, or it's not got the right markings or shape. To me, I think that's near enough. And once it's furtherly weathered up more, giving it further weathering, I think it's going to look good. Anyway, I'm happy with that. And now it looks complete, in my opinion, and in my mind. And I think if something's there, and I know it's there, whether it's functional or not, if I know it's there, and that's what matters. Anyway, so yeah, very happy with that smoke effect. Look at that, it's really dried nicely. And I don't want to overly do it, just enough so that you can see that there. I know it doesn't look very much in the light, in the sunlight, but I definitely can see it at my camera view here, and I'm sure at home you'll be able to see that as well. Yeah, even I can see it now. That looks lovely. And like I said, real quickly, it's nice to have locos in shiny, pristine finish. You notice the locos these days. Like I said, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you go to a Heritage Railway Centre and you look at steam trains that run on the main line or on Heritage Preserve railways, they tend to look quite shiny because people think they're very romantic and they look nice and sparkly, which, to be honest with you, they do. But the real railways of the 1950s and 60s, towards the end of steam, they had a real character about them, and you always saw an A4 pretty much like this in this condition. And that's what I wanted to create, because my model railway is based upon towards the end of steam, about 1962, 63, sort of Beatlemania sort of time, where technically in 1965, 66, there was still steam about. 1968 was the last year of steam operation on British railways, but for the purpose of my model railway, I like to represent the 1 or 2 engines that look like they need a good clean. They've been out there working hard and haven't seen the cleaners department for yonks. So that's what I wanted to create without over going too much over the top, and that's what I wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, in my model railway collection I do have sparkly, shiny, nice finished locos, and I don't intend to weather them. They are going to stay as they are, because we don't all want every single loco weathered or every single loco shiny. You want a bit of mixture between the two, because it was common in those days, I imagine. Again, I wasn't born, I wasn't around at the time, but from what I've seen in photographs and books, there was the one occasion where you had one loco that was more cleaned than the other, because it had been looked after a bit better, and it passed its fellow classmate on the other side of the track that was a bit more shabby condition. But yeah, there we are. Speaking of A4s, now I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. No, not you, Jasmine. I will tell you there's a surprise on the way, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you very soon. So stay tuned to the next video update, and I'll see you soon for the next one. In the meantime, thanks for watching, thanks for all your support, and with that, I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and goodbye to you all.